Pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
This is the regular meeting of the Central County Water Control District Board of Supervisors held on January 24th, 2018. Those present are Denise Miller, Chair,
Present.
Louis Nicolas, Vice,
President accounted for.
Bruno Moreno, Supervisor,
Here.
Joel Case, Supervisor,
Here.
Fernando Farlow, Supervisor,
Here.
John Boyd, Treasurer,
Here.
John Pomero, Attorney for the District,
Here.
Larry Benton, Consulting Engineer,
Here.
and myself, Assistant Manager.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion to adopt the agenda.
We need a second to approve it. Is there a second? Okay. Do we have a discussion of the agenda? Last month's agenda. No? Okay. Let's vote on it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those against? Okay, motion passed to approve the agenda. We have public comment sheets on the table. If you want? Okay. If you plan to speak, please fill that out.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
I know we're running this board now a lot better than we used to, but I got an issue. We have to stick with the agenda, because every time we bring a comment or something to vote on, and the public or the audience don't have a time to fill the sheet, and then we're voting on things and we're discussing things that they're not on the agenda and the public cannot speak. Right? If we don't follow the agenda and we only talk about what's in the agenda, the audience can come make a comment now,
Right.
okay?
Yeah, that's the
But
way it should be.
If we vary from the agenda, and we start talking about apples, and it's not in the agenda, the public cannot make a comment. And we're voting on things without hearing what the public has to say or what is the opinion of the public.
The public had all of this information for a week on the computer,
I'm not
on
saying.
the website.
I'm saying if it's in the agenda. If we talk about something that is not in the agenda, like we had in a couple meetings, the public doesn't have the opportunity to voice their opinion on a topic that we are discussing and we're voting on. So we either need to allow for the audience to speak, or we have to hold the agenda 100% true.
That's what we're doing right now.
Without varying from it.
The next thing on the agenda is public comment. Did I miss anything?
No, I don't think you're following me.
No, I'm lost.
If we follow the agenda,
Right,
the public right now has the right.
right, and that's what I was gonna do.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
But if we talk about something that is not in this agenda, the public is not aware of what we are discussing, and then they cannot express their opinion.
Mr. Annapolis, you are allowed as if I'm correct, you are allowed as a supervisor to make any comments when it comes to Board of Supervisors report.
I agree.
And all you do is write a little title to it or whatever, and they have to wait for you to make your comments. And then they will have to, their comments about what you're saying will be on the following month. Am I correct, Mr. Fumero?
No, that's the way it is.
Yes, I think what what he's saying is that, okay, we have public comment, the public can see the agenda, they see the backup for the agenda, they can come and speak to agenda items. He's saying, what if we talk about the color of the building, and that's not on the agenda? What if the public wants to talk about the color of the building?
Exactly.
So, that's a fair point, but then the question is, do you put public comment again after each time you discuss something? And if you do, you're gonna have a long meeting.
I asked that when he first
It's not
proposed,
perfect, it's not perfect.
proposed the agenda, and he told me that this is the best way and this is what they're using. 95% of the boards are using this format. I asked that question to him.
But remember, if something's not on the agenda, then this board should not be voting. So they can talk about
Yeah, you could
the
talk about
color of the building, but they can't vote to change the color of
Right.
the building. Because it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
So I hereby move that
We're
whatever
doing
we
public
call-
comment. We're doing public comment first. We haven't
Let me
finished.
finish, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I hereby move that we only discuss what's in the agenda to prevent from varying to the color of the building without the audience expressing their thoughts.
Well,
Without waiting for the next meeting.
I believe that the audience at this point could discuss whatever topic they want. Am I correct?
Yes.
We might not be able to, but the audience is. Did I understand you right or wrong?
Yeah, so under Board of Supervisors
Mhm.
reports, any board member can talk about any issue they want. They could say, next meeting, I want an agenda item to talk about X so we can vote on it, or this is going on and I don't like it, I want to talk about it. Any board member can do that. And under public comment, any member of the public can talk about any issue.
Right.
They can talk about items on the agenda, or they can talk about items not on the agenda, something they saw, they don't like, they want us to look at.
That's what I
So we
thought.
can talk about anything.
Okay. Mr. Nava? You understood?
No, I understood from the beginning.
Okay.
I just don't want for us not to let the audience express their opinions.
That was not my intention.
I've never said that.
Okay. All right. We have Carlos and Sabo. Could you please come up? You want to read this or present it to the board? Over there, the mic. Oh, okay.
No.
Identify yourself, please, where you live also.
My name is
The other way
Carlos.
around.
My name is Carlos Sabo, and I live at 765 North Live Oak Street. My concern, it became to my attention that we no longer have a food distribution service. For the last 8 years to 9 years, Reverend Landy has been doing this service to provide nutriments and food to needy members of our community. I'm not here to blame, or I'm not here to, question anything about this, but I just want to know what happened.
Carlos,
Can you please talk in the mic and face me so I can know what you're saying?
we don't hear you.
You need to address us,
That's the
not
board.
the board.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Well, I thank you for these few minutes of my time and your valuable time today. My concern is the food distribution here in Ventura. For the last 8 to 9 years, Reverend Landy has been providing this service. This is a non-money-making service. It's a service that provided different food for different community members, which were very, very needy. All of a sudden, we no longer have this because whatever happened, it's no longer here. But this is a 9-year tradition, 8 or 9 year tradition that we've had in this community. And I just wanted to know, what is the community doing to thank him, first of all, for the years of services which he provide? And is it possible for him to continue doing this in this community?
Okay, you're addressing me. I am on the agenda, and I will address that,
Okay,
and I will let you know.
thank you.
Thank you. Next person is Michael Ward.
I would like to just tell a little bit something about myself.
Could you please give us your address, Mr. Ward?
Yes. 625 North Florida. I've lived there for 35 years.
Okay.
And I was out here when Cabbage Palm was dirt roads. Merrill was dirt roads. Everything was dirt roads except Mary Lou's, and she had a little bitty place. It was a long time ago. And listen, I became disabled in 1998. I got hurt at Sugar Mill in 93, broke my back 3 times between 84 and 93. Okay, now they give me a little raise, you know, so I can live. They call it cost of living. You know what? I get $13 a month food stamps. This little minister's been doing something for Montour that Montour has not been doing. They take care of the place, but they don't supply little children with food. I think some of you need to go up there sometimes. If you do this, you are seeing Christmas. Free, no money. Comes up there, no money. I understand some lady wanted to put a flea market, and she said, well, if I can't put a flea market, we ought to do away with that. But you're doing away with 300 or 400 families of food. When you go to eat tonight and you say a prayer, you need to say, Lord, why am I doing this? I have the power to stop this. There's old people out here with strokes. There's old people out here in wheelchairs. They got to have their food tucked to the car. And I might look younger, but I will be 65 on February 17th. My wife's 61 and she's disabled too. Now we have to go down there and fight all of Clueston because they're trying to feed Clueston. And it's not fair. It's not fair. I understand if somebody's trying to make money on the county has to say, you can't do that. But if an organization is helping them, like Mr. Knowles knows, and I've dealt with Mr. Bruno before, Miss Miller, I don't know you or Joe Case or some of you guys, but you got to understand these people is doing something in Montour. I've been here 35 years. They're doing something in Montour for the poor people that nobody else will do. So we need help here. We need help from the people we put in here to look into that case. And you got to have a little mercy. You got to help these folks. There's a lot of folks knows about it. There might be some disagree and say, no, we don't want that. But that's people that's got food in their pocket. They got a job and they can make a living. But there's a lot of people out here with kids starves. They're Spanish folks. It don't matter. They're God's people. We need to feed them. And I'm speaking for this little minister. He's been out here for 8 years feeding people. The only ones feeding them now is Obispo. And now, a man come forth and gave that minister an acre and a quarter cleared. Gave it to him to build you a church. Something there. He gave it to him. And so I think, you know, I ain't been here but 8 or 10 times in 35 years because it's hard to speak to some folks. They don't listen. But there's people poorer than we are. Even poorer than me. I have to get food from there. I do. I get $13 a month to live on. I mean, food stamps. And the rest of my money goes in bills. And we live way out here. Every time we go to town, it's $10, $15. So I'm just asking the council to consider this. Consider the old folks. Consider the sick people. Consider the babies. Go down there and look. Little babies. They got to eat. And them people ain't down there for the fun of it. So I'll close this up because I know there's other people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you will listen. Because listen, you guys make a decision. That's what Montour voted you in here to do, to help people. And for 8 years now, they've been held. Now this, boom, no, you can't have it. Man, God, they pay for the clubhouse to go, taxes. So I think they should have a right to eat. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you. That's
You're
it?
welcome.
No more comments? Thank you. Okay. District manager's report?
The district had 1 inch of rain since the last meeting. We handed out 36 keys to the reservoirs last month. We've given out a total of 91 keys since November. We've permitted 11 culverts since the last meeting. We've done 9 roads. We've staked 6 culverts. Did 3 inspections this month. We were working on 425 Forest Club, the ditch. We've completed it, so it's done, and the guy is happy now. We're finishing up the mowing on the side roads, and then we are gonna finish up the dike, and we'll be done with the mowing for the season. We are mowing with a sidearm. We started on Bald Cypress. We're working south, trimming the trees back and stuff. Once we get halfway, maybe to Del Sur, then we're gonna send the sidearm in and get the estimates back for you so we can know how much it's gonna cost to repair it and stuff. Because we're trying to,
It's still not working correctly?
it is working correctly for right now, but you wanted an estimate on how much it's gonna cost to repair it.
Didn't you give it to us already?
No, we haven't. We haven't sent it in. Kelly Tractor will not come out here and fix it. They will not come out here and look at it.
So what was the $750 bill for coming, I think it was last month or the month before? To evaluate the machine?
Yeah, they came out to evaluate it, yes.
But they also did repair on it.
Yeah, they did a repair on it also.
So that's why it's working now?
Yes,
So you're anticipating that it's gonna break by the time you finish with Bald Cypress, and then you're gonna send it in? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know from day to day if it is or not. I mean,
Okay.
but right now, we're trying to get
It's
everything
working.
caught up while it's working.
Also, I could be wrong, but I thought that ditches were supposed to be our priority at this time of the year, in the winter, in the dry season. So I know that I've given in 2 lists from the people that go to food distribution for the ditches to be done. As far as I know, only 1 ditch has been done. That was for that man that took 3 days, the entire crew, because it was a big job. Ditches should be ongoing until the rainy weather, no?
Larry, is that?
Is that true or no, or should we continue with the road?
Yes, we'll be working on the roads and the ditches in the dry season, and like you said, the mowing will be finished for the season in the next couple of weeks, so then we can concentrate on ditches.
On ditches, that's what I thought it was, okay, supposed to be. Any questions?
Yes. Are you finished with your report?
No.
Go ahead, finish your report.
All the equipment have been numbered with the inventory numbers, and we had to do that because the auditors asked us to, because if not, we would have been fined for it because the equipment didn't have the sticker numbers on them. So every equipment now has numbers on them. We've hired 1 employee. We're still interviewing for the highway maintenance person. We had a couple qualify, but the salary was too low for them, so they wouldn't take the job. Also, I have an ad in the newspaper for the clubhouse maintenance person, due to that Al will be retiring on the 1st of February. So if they want to get an application, they can come to the office, pick up an application, or they can get a hold of Hermanio. He has applications at the clubhouse. Okay?
Thank you.
Now you can go.
I've got a suggestion, ladies and gentlemen. Since Vonda is doing the work of 2 people, and in the past, when Dougherty was here, and he would go on vacation, Cookie would get paid his salary. You can laugh all you want to, she's doing 2 people's work. You have to compensate your employees if they're doing the work of two people. I suggest that we divide the salary of Cookie per week, whatever she was making, whatever she's making now, and divide the difference and give her that difference for doing the services. For instance, today, like every day, she's here at 6 o'clock in the morning, and by the time this meeting is over, she's been working 15 hours. You gotta take care of your employees. You gotta take care of your employees. I'm not asking for you guys to pay her the weeks, the entire salary that Cookie was making, divide it in between and compensate her for what she's doing.
Do we vote on that? Do I-
I'll make the motion to pay her the difference between Cookie and her salary.
Your second? Okay. Let's vote.
Let's vote.
We have a discussion? Discussion? Anybody else? Okay. We'll vote on it. We're gonna vote to see if we approve that Vonda gets half of the salary, the difference, half of the difference of the salary between Cookie and her salary. Okay?
Those in favor?
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
4 in favor?
Those against? Okay, so,
This item is considered a yes vote.
yes.
Who was for, Mr. Chair? Naranjo?
I went in for Joe Case and Mr. Baraldo.
And me, so that's 4, and the niece is 5.
Right.
Who was against?
Nobody.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, just so that I'm clear, so it's to pay Vonda the district manager salary.
No,
The difference between the manager and her salary, what is it?
half of that.
To pay half of that.
You're halfway up.
Or
Right?
halfway up.
Oh, okay. I just
Yeah.
wanted to, okay.
Half.
Increase of what, 20, 30?
And only while she's doing this work.
Only what she's doing this work.
Okay? Only while she's doing this work.
Okay.
Fair.
That's more than fair, Fernando.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I guess the treasurer, will the treasurer calculate that?
Yes.
You'll calculate and then make sure it's in the check, so great.
We have another,
And I apologize, we did not approve the meeting minutes for last month. Could you
Right.
take a vote on that?
Okay. Let's vote on, if we approving the minutes from last month.
I thought we did.
You said no, we
So
didn't.
you have to approve today's agenda, which you did.
Right.
You do
But not the
additions,
minutes.
deletions, but you didn't approve last month's meeting minutes.
Do I have a motion? To approve it? Last month's agenda?
No, meeting.
Meeting. Meeting, minutes.
You know,
Right.
I make the motion, but I think the rest of the board should participate a little bit more.
Okay, you made the motion. Any second?
All right.
Okay. Discussion of it? None? Okay, let's vote. All of those who approve the agenda,
Aye.
All right.
I mean, not the agenda, the minutes.
Meeting.
Aye.
Aye.
No yeas.
I'd
Okay.
like to get clarification, what, as far as Vonda's increase in salary, when is that effective?
It should be retroactive since she started taking over.
Okay.
Was this given in and,
Yes, I'm sorry,
oh, you had it and you forgot it? Okay, we're going back to public comment. Chris, self?
Chris Self, 266 Avenue, Del Club. The ditch that y'all talking about is Horse Club and Granja.
I believe so. The
Pedro?
one that was done, the very big job?
Pedro Gonzalez's?
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that ditch isn't done. I don't know if the engineer has seen it. Have you seen it, Vonda?
I saw it.
Okay, do you know what it was cut with?
No, I
Was
just
it-
went there when the men were working.
Mhm.
I saw them and I left.
Well, it was cut
3
with,
days in a
well, it was
row.
cut with the skid steer, not with the grader. And it's not right. If you call that right, then we got a major problem.
He hasn't called me to give any complaints, and I went the last day.
No, but listen. Excuse me for interrupting.
I'm speaking.
Wait.
In order for you to find out, you gotta wait until rainy season. If it works, if he tells you
I don't
it's
know.
working, it's not working until rainy season comes up, and
Well, Mr.
Do any of you know
Engineer,
about this, Mr. Engineer?
I have not. had
You
a
were
chance to
there-
Check
you-
it yet, I was there that day.
You were there that day because I saw you.
But I haven't had a chance to.
You
check
haven't checked it yet?
Right.
well,
Okay.
it'll
If-
come with the skid steer, because it's the width of the skid steer, you still see the tracks, and there's a windrow this high where the blade went through, and even the backside of the slope isn't even done. I was just there before I came over here. And that's not the way it's done, by no way, shape, or form.
I
Okay.
think what he's saying is, so if you look at a ditch and it's got, you can pull out the vegetation, but maintenance means you restore the original cross-section
Yes.
of the ditch. You're saying they may have taken the vegetation out, but they didn't restore the cross-section of the ditch.
Right, because it doesn't have, the back slope to it is just lumps of dirt, and all they did was get the skid steer and run down it and just cut some of the sod off the top, and there's humps all down through this. It's not right. Mr. Bennett, whenever you see it, you're gonna very much agree that's not how it's done. We've never done that. And it looks horrible.
Okay, when I spoke to Mr. Bennett that day, I asked Mr. Bennett not to tell the men what to do, but to go and inspect it, I believe. And I said, do an evaluation of their work. So I didn't know he had not done that.
Yeah.
So Mr. Bennett,
We'll do
please,
that.
and a short evaluation of the work, if it's correct or done incorrectly.
I can do that.
Thank you.
And the other thing I wanna know about it is that there's a culvert that was done all the way at the end, and if Central County put in that culvert.
All the way at the end of the street?
Yes.
Yes, as far as I know, right? Vonda? Yeah.
So, yes,
They worked 3 days on that.
It's not our job to put in culverts.
there was a culvert there and it was damaged.
And it was taken
Somebody
out?
replaced
Yes.
it.
Who damaged it?
It was already damaged.
Who paid for the culvert? Is it our culvert, or did the owner of the property put the culvert
No
in?
idea.
I have no idea.
Where's the,
There's nobody living on there at the end
So
of
is
this.
that culvert draining one property or several properties?
which one? The one all the way at the
The
end?
one you're talking about?
It's the farthest one down north of the, it's,
All of the
it's the
property.
last, it's the last property before you get to the canal.
It's on the driveway then.
So it's a
No, no, it's right at
It's
the
just a
canal.
driveway, but I seen that there's a new culvert, there's fresh rock on it. And my question is, if the culvert is damaged, when do we start putting in new culverts and using our material and our rock to fix, it's abandoned property, nobody lives there.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, so we taxpayers paid for that.
Just saying.
Anybody else will have to put a new culvert in.
That's right.
That's the issue that I have. I see a lot of stuff going on that
Maybe
never
somebody
went
bought
on.
that property, I'll have to check on it and see what's.
Will you check on it and let me know so I could get back to them?
Always took it out.
Hey, you always take it out?
That's the normal thing to do, take it out and leave no.
Yeah, we
no
take it
culvert.
out, we bury it. It's not our problem. If it's
Right.
disrupting the water flow, we take it out, we bury it, done deal. But we don't put free culverts in, because then you're gonna have everybody and their mother Montura asking for one.
Right, right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I say something,
Yes.
It's actually to Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, when it comes to the grading, I noticed that for years now, they've been grading towards the outside. Isn't the grading supposed to be towards the inside of the road so the water could flow into the ditches? Because I mean, my road right now, it's got like maybe 3-4 inches where the grass is. And when it rains, all the water is accumulated in the road because so many times grading towards the outside,
Yeah. They
making
need-
potholes and everything else. Because I used to fill my front of my property with, I purchased the material myself. And that's something else we need to talk about, the fill. It's a lot cheaper fill than one you guys are paying for. And is there a reason why they grade towards the outside and not the inside?
No, the roads should have a crown on them.
Well, I know that
Particularly
they're
in
supposed
the
to.
rainy and the dry season, sometimes they do get flattened out, but they should be crowned.
What can we do to remedy that situation?
I'll give them,
Who's responsible for that?
well,
Can I
grader
make a suggestion?
operators, you know, do
So
it.
I think at the last meeting,
The
we
great
said we
operation.
have to have a maintenance plan for all the roads. Because we can't do it all at once, we have to have
Right.
a plan that we're gonna start
We
with
have a
these
list.
roads.
We already have a list.
Good, and so that maintenance plan should talk about when you maintain the road, what are you gonna do? And you have to maintain that crown, obviously, because if not, you're gonna pond in the.
Exactly. I mean, most of the roads.
That should be
are like
part
that.
of when they do maintenance, when they're done, there should be a crown there to have the elevation so it does drain to the
Exactly.
swales or whatever.
I just thought I mentioned
Yeah,
that.
fine.
But I think the employees that work on that should know.
Well,
What to
right now,
do?
they don't have nobody supervising them, but this has been going on for years.
Oh, okay. Yes, Mr.
I'm,
Napa,
I'm a little confused.
with,
If the engineer's on site, and he's the only one that really knows what's going on, why you told him not to tell him what to do?
That is.
Because-
That was wrong.
I have an answer for that.
That was wrong.
I wanted to get an evaluation from an expert of what the crew was doing. That's the only reason why I asked them at this moment, don't tell them what to do, let's see if they know what to do. How else do you evaluate a performance if you don't have an expert there? I'm not an expert. That's the only reason why I said it.
Maybe I did not express myself correctly. I'm not an engineer, nobody here is an engineer.
Right,
The only engineer that we have is him,
right.
okay? I don't believe of shooting somebody to see if he's gonna die. I don't believe that, okay? So I strongly suggest that we let the engineer guide, as a matter of fact, we voted on the last meeting to have the engineer supervise and do, and make sure the jobs were doing right. Now, let's suppose that it's done wrong, okay? We already shot him, he already died. Now, he's gotta go back, and we have to take the same crew and send it back over there to get it right. To me, it doesn't make no sense.
You're 100% right, Mr. Napa.
It makes sense to me because, I'll tell you why, I am not an expert. I've been told by all the workers that they know what they're doing. Every time I ask something, oh, we know what to do, we know what to do. Okay, here's an expert. This is something that all of them should know how to do. All of them should know how to do. And the entire crew was there. The entire crew. So I took the opportunity to get an expert to evaluate their work. I'm sorry if you don't understand, but that was the only reason why I did it. I mean, you have to give a test to know if the student understood or not, right? And you go by the test, the score that the student got. I am not an expert. He was there. I was there. I was listening to everything that was going on. And that is the reason, the only reason why I said that. And it may seem illogical to you, but to me it seems very logical. The whole crew was there. Let's get an evaluation of that crew instead of getting it from the assistant manager, getting it from the foreman that's there right now. Yes.
Now that you've done this and it's wrong, what's the consequences behind it?
Well, he has to go and see it, right? And then after he sees it, and he evaluates it, and he writes a report, we'll deal with that.
Yeah, but meantime, now we gotta send the crew to do it again, and it takes, if you do it right the
Well,
first time.
let me tell you
Our
something.
money we're just
That's
paying.
exactly.
Mr. Navarro, you were there. Naranjo, you were there a couple of times at the site. I was told that you were there.
Before they were working, I went only once to speak to
Right.
Pedro Gonzalez.
Right. He told me that you were there. If you heard, or you came about to know that you feel that my call was wrong, okay? You feel that what I said was wrong because now we're gonna spend money to send them go back? Well, let me tell you something. They should have known how to do it right to begin with.
Granted, but now we gotta pay twice. Our tax dollars, we gotta go out of it.
Well,
When the first time could have been done right.
but being
One time could have been done
okay,
right.
Mr. Navarro, that is your opinion,
That's my opinion.
and I have my opinion.
Except, but
Thank
it's
you.
costing us twice.
What can I tell
It's
you?
costing us twice.
I got one
Yes.
more thing. I bet you they didn't have to supervise Chris and Roger that way when they were
Well,
working.
now you're being prejudiced by saying that, but thank you, but that is not,
That's not being
that's not what that's not what we are discussing at this moment, okay?
Ma'am,
We should need it, right,
a
we don't
lot
even know
of
if it's
these
wrong.
men are new men. They don't perform like this dude and Roger and all of them do. They go
Okay.
and do a job and it was done right the first time. You ought to drive these dirt roads.
Let's move on, okay.
Drive
Thank
these
you,
dirt
sir.
roads.
Okay, the next report.
After he mows that,
And let me tell the audience, besides the supervisors, I don't mind being criticized. I learn every day. And some of the things I will do, you might not agree with. Granted, there were many things that the old board did that I did not agree with, and I had to put up with. So I guess you're gonna have to, and I will make mistakes. I'm human, and I might not make mistakes. I will be corrected, and I thank you if you are correcting me. And I do see that they have to go back now. Maybe they only send back one instead of sending the entire crew to do it.
Ms.
Let's move
Miller,
on.
I didn't mean it as a.
I know I am not addressing you, sir. I am
I'm
not
not
addressing
judging
you.
you. I'm
Okay.
just saying you
I'm
don't
just
know
clearing.
these new men.
I'm just clearing. Okay, now we go to the engineer's report.
This past month, we had a meeting with our consultant that's working on the FEMA reimbursement, and we're gathering the information that they need to submit their claim to FEMA.
Larry, I can barely hear you.
Move the microphone forward, please.
Is that better?
Yes.
We've been working with the FEMA consultant this month to gather the information needed for our claim for the damages from the hurricane. And
Damages in general or damages on the pumps?
damages in general.
In general. Is that the meeting that we're going to on Monday?
Yeah, well, that's a different program, but,
Okay.
but yes, it's regarding damages. But it damages the roads, the signs, the canal banks, the, everything that got damaged, plus the reimbursement for the overtime labor and those kind of things. So we're gathering all that information. As far as roads, we're working on the bid documents for the resurfacing of Hacienda that we talked about last month or the month before. And we our annual certification report to Water Management District for our C-139 basin was due February the 1st, and I got that completed and submitted last week. So we're in compliance with our Water Management District permit. I do have another thing that Mr. Napoles asked me about, and that was some operator training. I am working on doing some research on that. I am looking into some operator training. There are some options out there. Some I don't think we'd like at all, but there's a couple that I'm looking into a little closer, and I'm actually going to take one of the courses myself online to see if that's what we really want to do. The one particular one that I'm looking at is a free course, but they go on up from there. You know, there's a lot of things to do, but most of them are online, and they're mostly concerned safety and things like that. There's not much in there to actually teach, you know, how to grade a road, that kind of thing. But I am working on that.
I have a suggestion, being that we are hiring new men, and we are going to hire eventually a new manager. Why don't we wait until we have that person aboard and then see how much it's going to cost, the training, because if we're having training extensively, that's going to cost money. And I'm not against, I'm one that's for the training, but maybe we could not start it right away.
Yeah, and I'm not ready to recommend anything yet anyway. I'm still looking into some of the courses. But I just want to let you know that that's one of the things we've been doing. And that's all I have.
Yes?
We're still waiting for the suggestion to relieve the lower end
Yes,
of Motura
yeah.
and the gate 134
Right.
135,
134.
134, okay. Where do we stand in that? Are we designed a draining system to join our canals, or what, how?
We are working on that, and we haven't heard back from the Water Management District yet on that 134 structure. So we'll be inquiring back to them to see if we can
But
get
our end, not their end.
Right.
Have you came up with any plans to make a canal
Yeah.
from
No,
over there,
no,
over
we
here?
haven't.
At the November board meeting, I sent you all an email that had like 9 items that we were going to, so they range from, looking at G 134, that's not the silver bullet from what we can tell, but it'll help. But it's also woodlands,
Right.
and, you know, getting a connection to that low area, and also looking at, not deepening, because that's not gonna make a difference, but maybe widening, getting water to the pumps and into the reservoir. We have a reservoir that we barely touch any of the capacity of that reservoir. And so anything we can do to move water faster into that reservoir, I don't think we'll ever, to use the full capacity of that reservoir. And that's a good thing, so we don't have to worry about our off-site discharge, because heck, we're never gonna fill that reservoir. But we're not getting water into that reservoir fast enough, and then there are areas like Woodlands where it's just, it's gravity, it's just not moving. And I think it's getting caught up in that little juncture too, where
There's
9 and
several
12,
issues
yeah.
out there. We're
So,
working on
I'm
it.
looking for it, I sent, so we have a bunch of items that we discussed with the district that we're following up on. And I'll send that to you, but we came up with about 9 things that we need to pursue. And also looking in the district goals, looking at some of those pumps,
Yes.
like belt drive pumps, that aren't reliable. And so in a storm event, when one or more pump goes out, that's a big deal. And so they asked us to look at the reliability of some of those pumps and maybe come up with a plan to replace and maybe look at the capacity of some of those pumps. That's big bucks too.
I think that we are currently working with FEMA to see if we get reimbursed for some of that.
So, yeah,
So,
hopefully we'll get some
yes,
money to
and
do that.
replace those pumps or their parts. Yes?
I only,
Mr.
again,
O'Donnell.
Mr. Penner, it's to you, okay, 7 and 8, where them 2 pumps are, you could almost see the ground on the bottom of it. Couldn't that be part of the problem of why the woodlands get so flooded on the rainy season? Because I've been through there. You got Brazilian peppers growing on the ditches.
Right.
I don't see how water's gonna flow anywhere with them ditches in that condition. And where them 2 pumps are, if they need to be dug out, what are we waiting to dig them out?
We have those on the list to do, and we'll be doing those.
And I'm not against you, Joanna, about, Mr. Fomero, about replacing the pumps, but and I keep on saying that, I'm sorry, most of you probably just want to replace them, but if we had somebody, staff, workers, that knew something about them pumps, they probably wouldn't be in that bad of condition. Because maintenance is, you could buy a brand new $100,000 pump, I don't care, $200,000 pump. If you're not gonna maintain it, you're gonna be in the same problem in a year. If you're not gonna stay on top of things, what you need is somebody that's mechanically inclined, which is another thing that I wanted to talk to you about, gotta know everything of what needs to be done in Montura. Okay, we're gonna replace the pump, no, fix it, maintain it. The ditches, the canals, everything. Because it's gonna work against us. If you got a pump that's barely got a couple of feet of water because it's so full with sand and garbage and bottles and everything else, well, you're gonna have a problem with that pump because you're running it dry. So you got to start eliminating the problems. you know, the problems that are creating the bigger problems, because them pumps are expensive, they're not cheap. You know, and if you just keep on with the same ordeal open, I mean, we need somebody that really knows what they're doing, you know, somebody, man, I don't care who it is, I don't care, but they gotta be mechanically inclined first of all, because you say you got a machine, whatever it is, you know, the sidearm, like this and that you gotta get Kelly tractor. No, you got a mechanic. The mechanic don't cut it, get another one. If he doesn't know how to fix the machines that we got here, why do you have them for? I'm sorry, man, I don't even know who he is. But the mechanic that we need, with the machines that we got and the things, they gotta be mechanically inclined. They got to be able to fix whatever it is, a tractor, an excavator, a bulldozer, a loader, whatever it is. The pumps, gotta be mechanically inclined. We can't keep, I mean, come on, man, you know, you can't just say, okay, send it out and get fixed and pay $15,000 to get it fixed. It's not gonna work. We're never gonna get our feet off the ground like this, you know, it's not gonna work. We're always gonna be in a problem, you know, without maintaining the equipment the way it's supposed to be maintained. You got equipment sitting there for how many months already? And nobody uses it for forsaken reason, I don't know why, but, you know, the machine's just sitting there. It's why, I don't know. I mean, why? If you have a mechanic, he is a mechanic, certified mechanic, okay, you know, let's fix these. You know, one, at least take one. And whatever it takes, like the pickup. No, I don't care if it's a 1979. You pull the engine out, you pull the transmission, you put it back together, and you get your truck. You don't need a brand new truck. This is for work, man. This is not to go out. You know, I mean, it's my money too. This is the way I feel about it, you know, because I pay taxes here too. And, you know, the way everybody's asking for brand new vehicles and brand new machinery and brand new this and brand... No, you know what? I think with the money we could save, we could end up hiring a few more people. And one of them being somebody that's mechanically inclined and that knows what to do. That's all I gotta say, man.
Okay, let's move on. The next one would be the treasurer's report.
Okay, for the month of December, we had total expenditures of $106,951. Transferred $107,000 in to cover that. Our total taxes receivable, including the older taxes, $1,782,738. As far as this year's taxes, assessment of $1,747,317. This month we collected $475,000.
You speak louder, please. There's some that can't hear you in the back.
Is this working?
I don't think it's on.
Okay, now I'm here. So in December, we collected $475,337 of current taxes, $28,952 in prior year's taxes. So in the current year taxes, we're ahead of the last year by $23,613. And then on delinquent taxes, year to date, we're ahead about $30,728. I want to address, there's a couple issues were raised in the last meeting that I'm prepared to answer. But before I do that, is there any questions this time?
I have,
Okay.
well, you haven't gone over what you presented for the insurance?
Right.
Are you gonna go, should I wait for you to?
We can do that next, that's fine. You each have the dental bill and the vision bill is up for renewal. The dental bill didn't go up at all, it stayed exactly the same. The vision renewal, the existing company Safeguard increased their price 15% from last year. And MetLife, who's the one we get the dental from, they have a proposal that looks as good or even has smaller copays, and it's $110.88 cheaper a month. So you could save $1,330.56. So, you know, under that, my recommendation would be to stay with the dental and change from Safeguard to MetLife on the vision. Unless somebody knows anything about anybody not taking it or taking it, but I mean, MetLife is, you know, a big company. So anyway, that's,
Mr. Boyd,
yes.
I would like to see a comparison in the future because we were discussing, and I'm sure that we didn't vote on it, we were discussing about changing the coverage for the employees so that we are at par with other companies. Okay, instead of having a whole family coverage, it was going to be changed and we never voted on it, we never made any more comments on it.
That's primarily, I mean, this is a small part of it, but it's primarily the big insurance policy.
Right, the big one, the health insurance.
And I know that question has arisen, but
Right.
nobody's ever
But
said.
I noticed, but it was only on this one, that when you look at this one that you have for this one that you presented here, there is no difference between, where there is no difference between the employee and the spouse, then we could select employee and the spouse. There is a chart that you had that showed no difference between the payments. I don't see it here now. I think you're missing one sheet here.
There's supposed to be one for dental and one for vision.
Right, but if you look at it, there is a place where the difference between insuring the person by himself, the employee,
Right.
and insuring the employee and the spouse is no difference. So that I could see having them both. Where I think you're gonna find the main, and I know you are, the main difference is gonna be the health insurance.
Right.
And we had said, we had discussed, we didn't vote, but we had discussed that we were going this year to phase out the health insurance. Take out,
It's completely up to y'all.
I know that it's up to us, we have to vote on it. When it comes to that time, could you please bring the charts so we could see how much it is for the health insurance, the entire family, the way we presently have it, and then show us how much it is for the husband, the employee, and a spouse.
Right.
Okay.
We could do, as far as we do that with the bigger policy.
The bigger policy, yes.
This was all that
This
was
is
up
peanuts.
for renewal now. I don't know if y'all.
This is for renewal at this very moment,
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean,
February.
this is just-
February 1st.
Yeah, there's some time. But,
Well, no, we gotta make a decision now because we don't meet between now and then.
Right.
well, actually, February 1st. Okay. I mean, that's up to y'all. I mean, if you're gonna decide right now to change this, that's,
When is the regular health insurance due for renewal?
I think, you should say, I think in June, it'll come back for renewal.
I'm gonna suggest that you bring quotes way ahead of time so we don't
We don't have to do this.
do it,
Yeah,
you know.
I think last time we did that.
Okay, if you look at the first page, just one second. If you look at the first page on the bottom, where it says safeguard, the current rate is $18.34, and it's for his employee and spouse. And the employee and children is $18.88.
Yeah, but see that, both of those are more than, the employee only is $9.15.
Right.
So one is to add your spouse, and the other is to add children, but not a spouse, so that's why they're
Without a
close.
spouse. Right.
And then the family is the last one, so.
So since we were gonna phase it out, we have to select which one are we doing? The employee and the spouse, or the employee and the children?
Or just the employee.
Or what?
Or just the employee?
Or just the employee?
How much is it, Toby?
$8 difference between the employee alone and the employee and the spouse.
$8 a month.
$9.15 if it's the employee only, and $18.34 if it's the employee and spouse.
It's almost $20, $18 if it's the family.
Per employee,
Per employee,
per
per
month.
month. Mr. Napoles, do you have a comment to make? I'm sorry.
Yeah, if I recall right, we never had a workshop. We were supposed to have a workshop.
Well, we're gonna have it right after this. But we have to vote minimum on this. This is not the big dollars. This is peanuts that we're voting on.
What good, I mean, right now, we are in the spot, today, that we need time to look at this, and we need to have a workshop so we can talk about it. If you heard what Banda said a little bit ago, some people did not accept the job because of pay. Now, people do not look at the benefits, they look at the pay, okay? So, if we don't have the workshop, or we determine if the insurance is gonna be, for the family or just the employee. I worked for the county many years, and the company will pick up my insurance, and I had to buy, the additional insurance for my family. And if we take half of that money, just half, and we make it a pay increase for each employee, instead of making, an example, $15 an hour, he's gonna be making $22 an hour, and be more attractive for somebody to have, to take the job. So I definitely think we need to have a workshop and work out the details.
Okay,
And I don't wanna be put in a spot again where I have to make a decision
I agree.
on an insurance policy, on the spot,
I agree. So, Mr. Boyd, could we look at this and get back to you, or is that not allowed, Mr. Fumero? It's not allowed.
Well, no, he said you gotta
Okay,
do it,
To the first.
There's two different,
but you're not needing to.
all right, well, hang on just a second. There's two different policies here.
Right?
The vision is the smallest dollars of all, and it's the one that's coming due
Excuse me?
February 1st.
Thank you.
So actually, the bigger one of the two is the dental, and it's not until March 1st, so we could put that off, and,
So the one that you need for right now is the vision?
yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
right, and that's only $907 for the whole year for everybody. But still, I mean, that can be changed now, but the other one can wait, y'all can look at it.
So this is vision, okay. So the 982 is for the employee only?
The whole year.
Yeah, what I'm talking about, the right-hand column, we're recommending switching from Safeguard to MetLife, no matter which ones we cover. So the total, the way it is now, is $907.68 for the year. It's $75.64 a month. But, it would go down if you restricted it to employees only or employee and spouse, but it's not, really big dollars. I mean, obviously the dental is, more like $3,200 for a year, so y'all could consider that. And of course, the big one is the one that really needs
The
to be
medical.
decided about.
So the one that you need for us to vote on right now is the one on MetLife for the vision?
Right,
For the vision.
right.
And my question to you again is, the 982, is that for the employee only?
Yes.
And then 1969 is for employee and spouse?
Right. There's four, okay, I think over here in the first,
We don't have that.
you don't have the.
No, you didn't put it in the packet.
Okay, mine's a little bit different. Okay, what mine shows is that there's, I guess that's what that means, that there's 4 employees only, 1 employee plus spouse, and 1 employee plus children.
Okay, so the first one is employee only, employee spouse, and employee and children. And the last one is family.
Right,
Okay.
there's none of those.
Okay.
Nobody has, so you're talking about two situations where it's more than just the employee. So
Right, so can we vote on that now?
I would.
Okay? Can we vote on that?
I refuse to vote on the spot. If you guys wanna vote for whatever, this is America. I don't wanna vote on something that I don't have the knowledge, and talking about a paper that I don't even have. I'm sorry.
Yes, you have this paper. After
Not
that-
the one he has.
Oh, no.
mine just.
No, but his is
It's the
everything.
Same number.
It's too
This
confusing.
is America, the majority rules.
Okay.
But I restrain from voting.
All right. So do I have a motion to vote on the, vision renewal?
I'll make the motion.
Any second on that motion? Okay, discussion, we already had, are we having more discussion?
No, no more discussion.
Okay, then let's vote. We're voting on the vision renewal. Those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait a minute, we haven't selected which one. Are we
Yeah,
doing employee only?
Yeah,
Employee only?
right.
Okay,
Aye.
Alright.
aye. 4 to 1. Pass? Okay.
Then next month, we'll vote on the other. You'll have time to look at it or whatever.
Okay, thank you.
I was also asked at the last meeting to respond to two questions that were raised about the recreation. The one was the fact that the Christmas party, which costs like $3,800, used up the majority of that budget in one shot. And that was the question. But the thing is, it's the year that begins October 1st of 17 and ends at 9/30/18 is when the budget was put in there, and that was spent last Christmas. So when this Christmas comes around, there'll be a whole new budget. So you can budget 3,800, 4,000, whatever, and that will be in next year's budget. So you don't have to plan next year's Christmas with that money.
Yes, Mr. Knuckles.
He has a budget that we voted on the budget.
Correct.
I personally believe that you double dipping you because we had $4,000 an additional that was going to be used for recreation. So the way that you make it sound right now, he's over budget because he's spending money on the bound houses and all that, which that money should have came out.
That came out
Nah.
about 4,000.
He's not over budget. What he was worried about is when the next Christmas comes along, there's nothing left in the budget.
All right,
There'll be a
you can
whole
bring
new
it up.
budget.
Okay, I understand.
Every year.
Every year.
What I'm suggesting maybe is if we're gonna do the Christmas thing each year, maybe have a separate line item for that.
Yes, it'll be clearer.
Be clear.
Yes.
Now, one other thing, and this will be real quick, he was asked about why there was any overtime on the recreation. It was $126.42 overtime. And
Yes.
what it was on Al, worked 7 hours of overtime the weekend in November 2nd. Okay, so that caused $126 of overtime.
Right. And the other overtime belonged at another, it belonged to the general, to the roads and
Right,
water
yeah,
department.
it was just,
That
I
was
wasn't
the,
sure there was overtime on the recreation, but that's what it was.
Yes, I went to the office and it was straight with it. Thank you. One short question.
Okay.
I want to know where, in what line item did you put the summer program funds for this year?
You're talking about in the actual.
In the actual budget, in the budget?
In the budget.
Could you wait till we finish? Till he answers me?
Huh?
Could you wait till he answers me? And then-
Okay, so you're talking about summertime program and
Yes,
recreation.
yes. If it's hard for you to find out now, you could get back to me, Mr.
Okay, I
Boyd.
just seen if it jumped out at me, but I'll.
Oh, no, you'll get back to me.
Okay.
I could bring it back to the
Summer
meeting.
program.
The summer program, right. Okay, Mr. Nablus.
Did we vote to put the recreation to the East Recreation? And everybody on this board approved moving?
We didn't vote on that. I
Yes,
have,
we did, yes, we did. We voted to turn the recreation over to the East Recreation.
we're going to consider that.
No, we already voted on that, man.
I'll look it up because I have it at home,
Okay?
and I'll look it up and I'll let you know.
But the East Recreation, it's up to them if they want it.
Right, we discussed that.
It wasn't voted on. It was-
I'm going to a meeting for the East Recreation.
They're the one that's gonna have to step in if they want to.
Right,
Last year, they didn't wanna do it because they were doing Harlem.
right, they were doing experimental. I've already been speaking with the people that are in charge, and I'm going to a workshop, and then I guess we'll decide if we stay with them or not. If it hasn't been decided.
If they,
If it hasn't been, and if
If
they
they
approve, if they approve, so, yes.
Additionally, if you look at the tax record,
Mhm.
okay, that money, according to the tax record that I got,
Mhm.
that money came over to here. Not, on the last meeting, I brought it up and you said the commissioner, the county was taking the money. On my tax bill, it says Central County, that money came to Central County.
that was
So-
worded wrong.
Huh?
That was worded wrong.
Okay, that's my.
I met
That
with
was
the commissioners.
worded wrong.
I met with the commissioners, and they told me that they have the money.
Yeah, that was worded wrong. They should have never said, that they gave it to a Central County. They should
Right.
have said East Recreation.
Right. And that money is there for us to use. If we go with their program, they put $35,000 or whatever towards that program, and we end up paying $7 a week per child.
Okay, but who would correct the tax bill? Because right now, I assume that if I see a tax bill and the money says that the money is coming here, which I understand what you said, that the money's going there. But if I got a bill and the bill says that the money's going here and going over there, it appears to be double dipping. for the
I think that they hold it, and if we use the program, then they use that
I
amount.
understand, madam. I understand.
Well, then you're gonna have to go to the county
collector.
and,
Tax collector.
and tell them to
Tax
correct
collector,
that.
go to the tax collector.
Okay?
Right, the tax collector.
Right.
So who from this board, does the attorney has to get involved with this? To
No.
notify?
I prefer not having the attorney.
No.
If I need to go, I will go.
All right.
No.
Okay? Next.
That's
Thank
all
you.
mine.
Thank you very much. And the next one is, district attorney, then?
I'm gonna be real quick because it's 8:15. Website. We're sending emails to all the board members, sometimes every week, sometimes every other week. If someone is not able to get into your new Central County email account, please let me or Missy know, because that is how we've been communicating with you since December. And some of the communications are important. So if you can access the account, let us know and we'll help you figure out how to access your Central County email account. And also photographs. We still haven't gotten any photographs, and even people in the public, if anybody has photographs of stuff in Central County, the reservoir, anything, we wanted to, make the website a little nicer. Just send those, if you have photos, anybody, send them to Vonda, and we'll upload them onto the website. And we also need, so right now for the board members, there's a picture, and you all said you were just gonna take a picture, or I'll take a picture at the end of the meeting, whatever you want, but if you want to do that, just
Send it to
send it to Missy.
Missy.
And then one of the items we'll talk about is the district manager position. So in your backup, you have a proposed job description for your review and comment and approval. We have a proposed advertisement and a memo that outlines a recruitment process, again, proposed for your review, comment, and approval.
Are we going over that now?
No, ma'am, it's, I think it's coming up on the agenda. And then FEMA, I'm pulling the FEMA contract with Sulcer. It's on the agenda. Unfortunately, they called me tonight on the way here, and they want to charge $100,000, not to exceed. I had $7,500 in there, so we have to meet with them to figure out where this came from. I talked to Jennifer and Deborah Sulcer, and I want to make sure that, you know, we don't spend $10 to chase $8. So.
Didn't we have a contract with $7,500?
So we had the 7,500 contract, and their position was, oh, that was just for 2 months until we got to the permanent contract, because the original contract was done on an expedited basis without procurement. They said FEMA doesn't accept that it has to be a full-blown RFP. So we did a full-blown RFP. We advertised, and only one firm, Sulcer Group, responded. So on this agenda, I had their contract, and I just put the same $7,500. They called me today on the way here and said, oh no, it should be not to exceed 100,000. And that didn't feel right, so I'm gonna, and they said it's okay if we push it till next month's meeting. But what we have to figure out is how much kind of sort of do we have out there to chase? I don't know. If it's 500,000, then it's okay to spend 100,000. But if it's less than that, then we gotta figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna put that to the side for today. Then the FDEP, site access, so they have already hired a contractor. That contractor is gonna be coming out here. This is a contractor to do the remediation for the contamination. So that firm has been hired. We've been in communication with them. They're gonna start work in a couple of weeks. I told them when they come to the property to check in to the manager's office to say we're here. You may have one of the guys, you know, go with them when they go to do the remediation work, but that's starting.
Was that mandated?
Yeah, so we last month signed an agreement with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. They're paying 75% of the cost. We're paying 25%. It's gonna be about $15,000, but the cleanup is gonna be substantially more than that. And, you know, this was before I came, but we were already flagged by DEP to say, you have a contamination, so either you clean it up or you can work in our program and we'll cost share. So
we're doing cost share?
yes, ma'am. So that's underway, and then financial disclosures, I just wanted to make sure, I think I sent an email to those of you who accessed your account. I sent you the financial disclosure form. It's due in July, so just giving you early heads up, try to get it done sooner rather than later. Everybody has to do it, including me, so, and that's it.
All right, I have a major concern, Mr. Fumetto, and it's in regards to your budget. We have set aside a budget of $80,000 for you. In 4 payments, we have paid you over $62,000. That's a major concern for us. We're gonna go overboard on the $80,000 here. And I cannot justify a penny over $80,000 for an attorney's fee. Your first payment was within budget. If you divide the $80,000, it'll average out to $6,600, give or take a couple dollars. Your first payment was within line. Your second payment was over $25,000. In my opinion, right there, you should have thrown the red flag and said, hey guys, I'm going to go over budget if we continue this direction. Right there, you should have said, time out. Now, we're faced with this dilemma. We're $62,000 and change, and if you average that out, John, that's $15,500 per month. At that rate, ladies and gentlemen, we will be paying over $180,000 for an attorney's fees for 1 year. You're a businessman aside from an attorney. I'm gonna give you some facts. The city of LaBelle, $8 million, $9 million budget, give or take a couple dollars. We're a $2 million budget. There are 40 employees. We're 11. Their budget for their attorney, $50,000. The Henry County, their budget, $70 million. We're a $2 million budget. There are 120 employees. We are 11 employees. They have a full-time attorney for $122,000. Ladies, we're overpaying for the attorney firm. We got to make a decision here of what we're going to do with the budget. I myself would not support a penny over $80,000. The rest of the board, like Mr. Napoles says, we're in America.
I agree with you too, sir. This is a poor county. Simple.
I'm just giving you facts.
Yes, sir.
It's our money. It's our money, it's our tax money.
Yeah, could I say something?
Supervisors of the discussion.
It's a supervisor's discussion.
All I know is that he walked in here with a mess in his ass. And that if it's gonna cost us extra,
Hey, if you're willing to pay extra,
it's.
you
well,
vote on it.
Exactly.
Can the chair recognize me? I have my hand out before.
Oh,
He hasn't finished.
And people are jumping.
He hasn't finished what he's saying.
But I was before him.
Before him?
Go ahead.
I didn't see him.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I didn't see him. I mean, it's, you know,
The fact, Fernando, is
I
that we
understand what
agreed
you're
to a
saying.
budget.
but he walked into a
He
mess.
agreed to a budget. He could have called right there when he spent that the second payment for $25,000, he would say, oh yeah, wait a second, I'm gonna go over budget. We need to discuss this.
Yes, Mr. Napoles.
Based on the document that I have here, what he's billing us, okay? I don't see a problem, okay? Now,
That's good for you.
well,
That's
what
good.
I'm saying is, it is true what Fernando says, he has walked into a mess. It's a lot of things that need to be fixed, and if you look at this paper on what he's charging us, maybe we need to stop talking to him. I see people here talking to him, and he's being charged, and it's only fair. He's doing all these other documents, he's being charged. I don't see no problem with it. Of course, once we settle down, I expect this to drop down to the budget. But right now, if we put all this burden on him,
No.
Mr. Bruno, will you let me finish, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
If we put all this burden on him, it's not fair that now you're saying that he's over budget, okay? It is my opinion, based on the documents that I have in front of me, of the itemized bill that he's giving us, that I thought it would be a lot more. I really thought it would be a lot more.
We budgeted what? What did we budget, Mr. Annapolis?
Sir, one thing is a budget, I agree, then, but why then we all voted and we gave him all this extra work? Of course he's gonna charge more.
He's a businessman.
Well, no, we gave him the
We
work.
gave him the word.
We gave him the work.
Listen, we have a budget, $80,000.
Okay? Then why we gave him extra work? He's gonna charge for extra work.
There you go. There you go, and we're gonna come up with litigation.
It's your fault.
And that's separate from this.
Of course.
That's separate. I'm not arguing about that litigation. This is, $80,000.
Okay, so what you're saying is, once we go to $80,000, then he stops, right? No. If we gave him all this work, he's only charging for what he's doing. And I don't,
All right, you guys wanna pay more money? Hey,
it's not a question of paying more money.
You're gonna pay more money.
Then we don't give him the work.
listen, he's got 8 more bills to, and he's got $17,000.
You do the math.
Then we don't give them the work, Bruno.
You do the math.
What are we gonna do?
Mr. Pomero, I know that you have the hurricanes. I've seen your bills, the hurricanes. Then the mess that you inherited, like I inherited here. Okay? Our state, the state of the union was a mess, or is still a mess. I understand all of that. Is there any way, are you more than halfway through with all the paperwork that you've done, with the 3 months that you've been working here? Are we up to date that you will be charging us from now on just for the meetings for the next few months? That you had settled on 1,800 for the meeting, whatever? Or where are we as a district that we could cut back? The workshop that we're supposed to have, that I called, I don't think we're gonna get to today, but one of the things that we were going to discuss, or at least I was gonna bring out to the table for the supervisors, is how can we work, like I was volunteering to do the minutes with Vonda until we got new people in, okay? Because that's almost $400 or maybe $600, I don't remember, that we could take off the list. And there were other things that we were going to discuss that we could save money. Where is Central County now legally that we could just spend money on having you here for the meetings? Is that possible?
Absolutely. So just so that we have the facts on the table, the bills, the legal bills, and we have over 30 pages of detailed invoices for every minute of the time I spend. It comes in every month, you have that. I have had some discussions with you, Madam Chair, about legal bills and what we can do to reduce the bills. And again, just to get the facts, I've also had conversations with the past chair about the bills and that we were going over the bills. So I just want that to be clear. It was not a surprise. We had discussions about legal bills and what's going on, what's behind those legal bills.
I'm only questioning your budget.
Absolutely.
I'm not questioning.
Absolutely. So
I'm not questioning what you have in here. I'm
No,
questioning
I understand.
$80,000
So-
versus what you have already accumulated.
I can.
That's all.
Absolutely can come to board meetings, answer all questions during the board meetings, and that's it. I can do that.
But
That's not what I've been asked
but
to
that's
do up to
not,
now.
okay, but
I've
that's,
been asked to rewrite policies, procedures,
Right.
employment
I told you that we were going to do the policies.
websites,
Right.
everything.
Yes.
So if I can stop all that, I can stop updating the website, because I was asked today, hey, well, how come you didn't update the, I said,
Right.
because I'm trying
I
to save
asked.
money.
right,
So
that's what
I
you
will
told me.
stop everything effective tonight.
But didn't we just pay for that website to run for 3 years? Or that was only the fee for?
We bought
we
the
bought the-
domain name.
Okay,
for-
so we still gotta pay them $50 an hour to continue?
So if you ask them to make additional changes to the website, the web firm
Mm-hmm.
charges $50 an hour to update the site or to do things to improve the
Well,
site.
just to update, so that it's on our computer.
She can do it.
How many hours? Does that take, more or less, how many hours? You don't know?
It's maybe an hour, 2 hours a month.
So that would be $100. Let's say $200 for the website a month.
That's between, you would have to contact, 'cause
Right.
I've been negotiating
Yes.
those contracts, you would contact her. and work
Yes, yes, I will. Okay, so we need the website. We're not gonna lose the website. That's a must. That's law, okay? And is there anything else that you see that we must have, or we will get in trouble if you don't take care of that? Down the line.
No.
Because
You'll
just
get in
coming to the
legal trouble?
meeting,
No.
just coming to the meeting and listening to us and determining if it's legal or not is fine if everything else is fine. If everything else, all our paperwork, all of, we're complying with the law and all that, that's fine. But if we're not, we need to know that. We need to know that there's something there that we could get in trouble for.
I will prepare my attorney report, I will submit it to you, and I will show up at the meeting.
The attorney report,
I got my monthly attorney report, while I let you know what I'm doing,
okay,
which will be a little shorter, so it'll be
Shorter.
cheaper.
okay.
And then I'll show up at the meeting.
Do we discuss that now?
Mr. Napoli has his.
Mr. Annapolis?
Everybody has a copy, does everybody have a copy of the invoice?
I do, but not with me.
Guys, he's only charging us what we ask him to do. If we don't ask him to do anything, of course he's not gonna charge us. But if people keep calling him and talking to him about this, talking about the weather, whatever, he's gonna charge. I do not see putting a restriction on the attorney that is representing us because we may be going over budget.
In a way, I agree, but what I am saying is, no restriction if it's something that we need by law. I want him to address it. Now, do we stop now because we caught up with all the things that we needed, the way you found us? If we're not there yet, Mr. Attorney, that's what I need to hear from you.
I don't think we're there. I think we need to
I agree.
address more issues here.
Okay?
And of course, it's gonna cost us money. But I do not believe in putting a restriction on the individual that is representing us legally because we may go over budget. I
No, we
prefer
are
to
going
go-
over budget.
I prefer Louis Napoles, supervisor of this board, prefer to go over budget and save the county and the taxpayers of this community than if I put a leech on it. So I would not put a leech on it. If we go over budget, there are names of the people here, you have called them a few times. I see your name here for 2 hours. That's a lot of money.
For who?
For you, it's just him.
2 hours, he's never spoken to me for 2 hours.
Probably that and
I'm
something
not,
else.
I'm not gonna say who, I'm going by the,
He has never spoken to me for 2 hours.
on their other items, it says here, but regardless.
Now, regardless, no, he has never spoken to me for 2 hours.
That's between you and him.
He
I'm not
knows
gonna
it.
get into that.
He knows it.
I would not put
Can I say
a,
something?
We're allowed to talk.
I would not put a leech on an attorney, and that's for the record. Was there, you taking a minute?
Mr. Boyd,
Yeah.
Okay, for the record, I'm not putting a leech on the attorney, because we may go over budget.
we haven't voted on that yet. Mr. Boyd?
It sounds like, good to have him just come to a meeting and that's pretty much all, but I don't think that's gonna be realistic.
That's not what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, if the budget can get down on a monthly basis to where it would have been maybe, divided out or something, then, cause he's got to do stuff besides just come to a meeting.
That's what I said. If there's anything else that needs to be done,
But we just need to,
we have no choice.
if we don't ask them to do all these, any more than employment, all these different agreements maybe are almost done.
Mhm.
But I don't think we should walk away from here with the idea that all he's gonna do is come to the meeting, that's it. And like there's something coming up with the Salsa group right now that he needs to deal
Right.
with. And so I think we need to try and restrict how much, extra stuff, but you've got to have a certain amount of work done.
I'm sure that if this was the second year that he was on board, our fees will be much less.
God willing.
The budget,
God willing, we don't have another hurricane or whatever, yes. Do we have to accept no public comments?
It's just something, well, I think it's something that'd be beneficial, just to where you could cut out some of this spending. If you just give me all I need.
Well,
10 seconds.
we're gonna have a workshop, we might have a workshop, and that's what I was going to do in the workshop. So if you could hold your idea to the workshop, if we ever get to it, okay?
The workshop was supposed to start at 8:01.
Yes.
And end at 9 o'clock,
Yes,
because I've got to go at 9 o'clock.
okay. We could have the workshop without you,
Miss Nasty,
Yes, go
I
ahead.
believe, you know, you need a lawyer.
Yes.
But for this community, he's got to be reasonable. He's got other business, other clients. He don't just get his money from Montour. I agree with Mr. Navarro. There ought to be some kind of something set, because if you take the money from this budget, what are you gonna pay this man over here with? And the people that's working, you gotta pay that, and you gotta keep it running. You gotta have a budget. I agree with that.
I want to say something, if that's important. Where does that budget amount, the $80,000 or $90,000? Who invented that number?
Well, that was at the budget meeting, we allocated.
Based
When the other lawyer left,
It sounds like you pulled it out of the sky and now it becomes law.
the budget can be amended.
right, it could be
We have-
amended, we could take money from other funds.
We have a contingency
Right.
in there also.
Yes.
All I'm saying is, we have a budget of
What
$80,000.
happens to the 90 days
Can't make it run.
from $250 an hour? When he first come in, he said within 90
Excuse me?
days, he would give us a different, from 250. He would have a set rate.
And that's true. And I had a conversation with the chairman at the time and said, no way, there's too much that I'm being asked to do. And I was told at that time, understood, you're right, continue with the hourly.
Correct,
So,
correct.
I got very clear direction
Correct.
to substantially reduce the time I'm devoting to Central County. I'm happy to do it.
Correct.
We have a very full agenda. We have huge things on the agenda we haven't even gotten to. We got the district manager recruitment process. I have done an advertisement
Okay.
process. I will
Let's
hand
move
it
on
off
then.
to a board member or to
Can
Wanda.
we-
But I'm ready to hand off.
Can we table this discussion? Board members, what do we do?
I think we should.
He needs to move on, so do we vote on anything? Or we just discuss it and then we come back to it?
We can come back.
We can come back to it? Okay, Mr. Turmero, go ahead with your presentation of,
Well, I know we have a clubhouse report. It's 20
I know.
till 9 and we haven't even gotten to the agenda.
and I haven't even got to it. Okay, go ahead.
Well, so in your board backup, I drafted a proposed advertisement, a job description, and a recruitment process. So we really need to get that out the door so we can begin the process to get a full-time district manager on board.
Okay, there was one thing, remember that I wanted to say about.
Yes, well, let's start with him. Go ahead.
And so this is a great example of something I can not work on anymore. You can provide, I can give the draft documents to Vonda. You can provide her with the edits, and then we can, I just urge you, please, we have to go forward with this report.
Yes, we do.
It's not a good,
Yes. So what you're saying is that you will give Vonda the newspaper ad and everything else that you have prepared and she'll take care of it?
yeah, she has it.
She has it already?
Yes.
There is no discussion on that?
Well, no, I just came up with something. You need to tell me if you like it, you don't like it, you want to change it.
Has everybody here read it?
No, it's on one part that I already told you about.
Right, we'll tell him.
Well, which is the mechanically inclined part. I mean, there's nothing in there that says
Job
that
description.
he needs to be mechanically inclined.
Yeah,
It says that he has to have knowledge, but.
Right. So this is a great example of, and I'm just gonna give you my experience, but this is your decision. So you can hire a manager that understands the use of heavy equipment, but they're not necessarily a heavy equipment operator, because they hire people. You know, do you want a good manager that knows how to manage people, or do you want a manager that can go out and fire up a front end loader?
Actually, if I could get both, you get the cake and eat it too, yeah.
You can, but you have to talk about salary too eventually, because you can get that person. but you're gonna pay.
Well, it's better to pay now than pay later.
No, I'm not, there's no right or wrong, I'm just saying.
We don't need somebody
I
with a
think-
tie, driving around and just manage people. We don't need that.
And that is an excellent point that is up to the board to decide.
That's it, that's all I gotta say.
And that's in the job description,
Well, it's not in the job
So
description.
the job description says they have to have knowledge of heavy
Yeah,
equipment
that's it.
operation. But it doesn't say they have to be a heavy equipment operator.
Or mechanically inclined.
Fernando, let me
That's
get you
correct.
straight. You want experience.
Exactly, that's it, experience in what it's needed in Montura. Experience, nothing else, man. I mean, personally for me, I don't, how fancy his handwriting is or anything. He needs to know what, at that point, if we have an emergency, if he's gotta get 30, he's gotta get 30.
Right, right.
Mr. Napoles.
I think a manager uses the resources, and he has to know basically what a front loader looks like. But I don't think that is critical to have a manager. I want a manager who can manage people and get the work done. The only problem I see on this manager description, this job is just for one person, because on page 304, education and experience, the employee must have a high school diploma and 2 years of college or equivalent in experience in working with supervisory capacity in the Florida Water Control District. So there's only one guy who can qualify for that. It's the guy who wants to move here, that he's working for South Florida Water District. So that right there, I want to have a manager, maybe with less college, okay, and more experience than a manager that he can manage people.
It says or.
Huh?
Yeah, but I
It is or.
I agree with Napoles. I would strike out the bachelor's degree or the associate degrees, whatever degrees.
It's or.
No, I would just strike it out.
A
I'll just strike it
a college degree is helpful as a manager. The part that I personally don't like is to have been a supervisor capacity at a Florida Water Control District. That you cannot go to school for. Nobody can go to school for that.
And you're right.
We don't have that many people to make changes.
Right, and the other issue, there should be a minimum and a maximum price here.
There is none.
There is none, and there should be a minimum or a maximum. Salary, the salary description.
That has to be,
That's in the advertisement, that's not.
Right, that is based.
That's in the advertisement.
That should be in the advertisement, yes.
I mean, you look up in our website and a principal description tells you from what price to what price, from what range to what range. And that should be put here.
Okay, so it is my opinion that on page 304, on education and experience, we may want to say that college is good, but it's not necessary. And we take out completely that you had to be a supervisor for the water control district. Because let's suppose Vonda wants to apply for the job. She has never worked for the Florida Water District. So she's getting
No, that's just, we're a water control district.
Experience at water control.
It's just, there's.
Just says
So-
preferred.
preferred, and then.
And also the 2 years, isn't required, it says, or equivalent experience in working. So in other words, if someone comes and they have experience at a flood control district, they don't need any education. They're coming with experience. So I tried to make this kind of flexible, not to lock you into any one thing. And Vonda can rewrite that if you want. But that's a good point you raised. I mean, you need to figure out what
That's
you
why
want.
we're
You can-
discussing it.
And you can say preferred as opposed to required.
Yeah, preferred. Vonda, preferred. I got 2 year of college,
Can I-
preferred.
Can I make a suggestion? Or let me ask, Fernando, are you a heavy equipment operator?
Yes, sir.
Are you a mechanic?
Yes, sir.
Have you run your own little business?
Yes, sir.
You know what? I'm gonna nominate you as the next manager.
No.
You're gonna
Nominate.
be, hey, you're gonna be, it's just a suggestion, you're gonna be making between $50,000 to $60,000 instead of sitting here for free.
No, I do it for free. I'm happy retired, man.
You know, what better manager than you?
Yeah, no, thank you.
You cannot appoint.
No.
He has to apply.
He needs to, no, he needs to apply. But there you have it, a good manager right there.
You done sat out here for 30 hours after?
You know, you have applied how many, yeah, well, you're gonna get paid. How many times have you applied here at the district? Fernando?
Quite a few.
Quite a few. Have you ever had an interview?
Nope.
There you go.
I'll make a motion.
Neither have the other managers.
Ma'am?
Neither have the other managers.
What
I'm
manager?
an operator.
Oh, you mean an operator? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
You know, there's your perfect candidate right there. There's a perfect candidate right there, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, let's get moving. Where are we going? Next? That's it?
Well, no, you have to give Vonda direction on your comments on the job description, the advertisement, and the recruitment process.
Okay, she needs a date for the
So are you
advertisement?
clear on the changes they want to make to the job description? Okay, so then you should go to the ad. And
Okay.
I think Bruno made a very good point. You should put a salary range in there too. And then
Okay.
you want to really attract people.
So what should we put as a salary range?
60 to 80.
Ooh la la.
Well, you say you nominate me.
All respect.
Nah, man, but listen, I mean, if you're gonna ask somebody to come in here and straighten this place out, you're gonna have to.
Then you're the perfect candidate.
You're not gonna pay them $30,000-$40,000.
You're the perfect
No,
candidate.
but maybe 60. We have to come up with a number. We have to move on.
60,000 ain't that
It's a
much.
range.
Don't-
That doesn't mean that you're gonna
So
stay
if you
there.
find a superstar, you pay them at the upper end.
Right.
If you find something that's so.
Right,
pay at the lower end.
right.
Okay.
Oh, and it's
So-
supposed to be
You
a
know,
probationary period?
I've had
50.
several contacts of people that are knowledgeable between the price range of $50,000 to $60,000 without a contract.
They have to apply. They have to apply. Is there probationary period in the job description? Or
No,
in
that would be a contract issue.
a contract?
Well,
Okay.
He's saying no, I mean, you know, if you're gonna, so a quality person is gonna leave a job, hopefully they're employed, and take a new job. If they've done a little homework, they're gonna want some assurance that after 30 days, they're not gonna be let
We
go.
need some insurance also,
Right.
Mr. Camaro.
So, in that contract, you would, I think it's very good to have a 90-day probationary period where either party can walk without anything. You would want to have a review, a performance review at the end of that 90 days to say, this is going good, this is not going so good. All those are contract issues that you would work out. I definitely would do a very different contract than you have now.
Okay. But that's in the future. This doesn't have to be done right now.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So what she needs to have right now is the date for the advertisement, right?
I need a range first.
Oh, a range?
50
60 to 70? What?
50 to 100.
How much was the former manager making?
How much was the former manager making? Without the perks?
90.
No, she wasn't making 90. 60 to 80 range? Does everybody agree? 60 to 80?
We got the short end of the stick.
Remember, guys, this is a maintenance.
Right.
This
Okay,
is not
and
building new
what else
roads,
do we
this
have
is
to
not
do?
building new canals.
Yeah, it is.
This is maintenance.
Vanda, next thing,
You are
Mr.
doing
What
Fumero?
we have for the last couple of years, and we wanna move forward and have something.
And let me just say, I mean, with all due respect, a good manager will make back 3 times what you pay him or her.
Exactly.
Don't mess around over 10 grand. I mean, if you get a heavy hitter here, believe me, they will earn their money back, and what they'll bring back to this place will be a lot. And I do think it's a little bit more than from what I've driven around, it's more than maintenance. Maintenance means everything is just right. And
So what do you suggest?
about,
Give us about the figure we have given.
I think 68 is a very reasonable,
So that's what we
I
said.
mean, and by the way, just because you put an ad, and let's say someone comes and you say, hey, sorry, I think we'll come from paying you 50. Because you put it in the ad doesn't mean you can't deviate. But you want to attract, that's why I think we're said about, you put it in the ad, people are gonna pay attention when you put a salary range in it.
Okay.
If you want the quality. But that doesn't mean that you can't pay them 90, it doesn't mean you can pay them 40. Let's see who comes out.
Exactly.
Okay,
And then,
next.
and then
What do we-
within the 3 months of probation.
So.
Probationary period.
So it looks like, you've made the changes to the job description, then,
The newspapers?
the ad, so I put in here.
As soon as possible.
So where do you put the ad? Like, if you just put in the Coolison News.
I agree with the places that you said.
Yeah, Indeed.com, Monster.com, everything's in there nowadays, and they're cheap. And then you can put it in the papers if you want, but everybody now is,
Right.
going to
Indeed,
that.
they're coming out.
They need to have some skills in learning how to deal with the state, just in case there's any additional funds or anything like that we could bring into Ventura. So this person has to be a little bit literate and knows how to,
I think it's in the job description.
Okay.
Yes, I read it.
write
It wasn't-
reports and all that.
He's right on. I mean,
Appropriately.
that's why I'm saying, the person who's a really good manager, they'll hire a good mechanic and they'll know how to use them. And you do have to deal with the federal government, the state agencies, local government, to really, and these people can bring money, they can get grants. You get a heavy hitter, they're gonna bring things here that you've never even thought of. Don't buy a Chevy, buy a Cadillac. You can do it. Excuse me, I like this.
Okay, next.
So then I laid out a recruitment process, step by step, advertise, do an evaluation, come up with a short list, do the, interview the short list, it's all in your backup.
So everything we have to do besides putting the ad, you already gave to us. We follow those directions.
Everything I did is in your backup.
Okay, I have it on.
Do you want the applications must be received by when?
Oh, yes, we need that date.
I
By
put
when?
proposed dates in the memo I sent you.
You have a memo? No?
It's all
You sent it to
No,
her?
it's for-
No, you have it. It's all, right, good, it's in there.
I haven't seen my computer. What are the proposed dates? You see them?
it's
So,
one-
for example, advertisement shall be posted minimum for 30 days.
What page is that?
It's Exhibit C, it's entitled Recruitment and Selection Process for District Manager, at the very top.
There's no date on it, it's just.
Mine says Exhibit C. It's this. It says, there you go.
A, B,
I got
B,
you. Okay, I'll copy.
So it has dates for each step of the process.
C. You have C, I have B.
Mine says Exhibit C at the bottom. Yeah, Exhibit C at the bottom. There it is.
You have it?
Yeah, I
Okay.
got it. What's the next one?
So the date, you need a date now for the newspaper ad? Banda. You need a date? So let's look at the dates he suggested. It should be in C, he said.
Exhibit C is the process, and then you also have the ad. Everybody, give
Yes.
comments if you
And how
want
about the
to
date?
read ad.
The dates that we have to put on the ad
Well, no, you
for
don't,
the applications.
so I put 30 days, just to,
30 days?
We interview.
and by the way, so let's say you put an ad out.
Listen, please.
So if you put an ad out and you say 30 days, this happens all the time, let's say one person applies, there's nothing to keep you from doing it again
Right.
until you get a good pool. Sometimes I've seen it happen, you put an ad out, and depending on the time of year, you get maybe 2 applicants. A month later, you put the same ad out and you get 50 applicants. Sometimes you have to go back more than once, you play it by ear.
So 30 days, we're gonna have the ad. And the date, she's gonna put on the applications by
soon as possible.
No, she has to have a number.
Well,
Yes, I have a date.
you have to have an actual date, so
Yes.
depending on how soon she can get let's say she gets everything.
Can you put that in
posted
tomorrow?
By February 1st, I said, well, yeah, I don't know if she can do it all tomorrow, but,
The newspaper she can.
well, you put it in today, but I think the
The
newspaper has
newspaper,
10 days.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
You have to
Okay.
read.
And Indeed and Monster, I think you can do that like pretty quick.
Okay.
And
As soon
then
as
put a
possible.
date, like, so today is,
Today is the 24th?
You know, on or before February 26th, 2018. All applications.
Wait a minute, when is our next meeting?
Our next meeting,
February what?
28th.
28th. Shouldn't we have it before then?
Well, you want to give at least 30 days for people to
Yeah.
submit, that's the thing.
Don't go quick.
And then, what you would have is someone like Vonda go through all the applications and do a first cut. You know, you'd be stunned. You'll have somebody from, you know, Ethiopia send in that's never even walked on. So those get thrown out. So you do, somebody does a first cut. That's in the interview process. Somebody does a first cut and then gives you only qualified applicants. From the qualified applicants, you do a short list. You decide. You want to interview 3, 4, 5, you decide. And then you have an evaluation form that you all fill out, you add up the points,
Right, you put that in
and
our
then
packet.
you rank them, and number 1, you start negotiating. If you don't reach a deal with number 1, you go to number 2. That's if you get a good deal.
What do you do if she wants to apply?
Who wants to apply?
Our assistant.
Vonda?
Yeah.
Anybody can apply.
Anybody could apply. Yeah? If she has the requirements. Okay,
So we're
well,
on February 26th?
yes, the
They have to be
date,
turned in by,
that's a month almost. 25th.
that'll be 30 days.
That'll be 30 days. Oh, I know. Okay, what is the next item on the agenda? Are we finished, Mr. Fometta? Are you finished with whatever you had to explain to us?
Yeah, I mean, as long as Vonda has the direction she needs,
She has all the directions she needs, I think.
so that would be,
So where are we going to now? We were going to talk about,
yeah, so, the, item C has been, withdrawn from the agenda, so it's just item C and item D have been withdrawn. D is the Sulzer contract. Item C is being
Please.
withdrawn.
Which 2 items, Mr. Fumero?
6, C, and D are being deleted. 6D is the Sulzer contract, which, for the reasons I stated earlier, is going to be deferred to next month. And 6C, as I'll talk about it momentarily, I have been unable to reach a settlement of the matter involving the district manager. The district manager retained an attorney a few weeks ago. I have been in very regular contact with him over the last several weeks. In fact, I spoke to him minutes before the board meeting. He was here. And he made a series of proposals. I don't know if you want me to get into the details, Madam Chair.
yes.
So when he first was hired, he started with a $150,000 settlement offer. I told him, we had a very, let's just say, I'll spare you the details. We had very long conversations. I told him our position, our legal position. He told me his. I told him what was wrong with his. He told me what was wrong with mine. I put all of that in an email to the board members. I gave you a detailed email with all of our negotiations. So it's in your email box if you haven't seen it. And that number went from 150 to 90,000. Then it went from every few days, then it went to 75,000. And then it went to 50,000 today. I explained to the attorney that he could present anything he wanted to the board this evening. I told him that I was not willing to support that sum, but that we, could have some negotiating room, and he decided that he was going to leave.
Who is he?
So he is left. Thomas Montgomery.
Mr. Fumero? Mr. Fumero,
Yes, sir.
the accusation that he made between me and Larry, clarify that. Because Louis and I were never talking, it was Larry and I. To you,
I don't know who
that-
was talking, but I had not walked in the room, but he basically said, well, I'm gonna file suit, then I'm also gonna sue for a sunshine violation, because I just saw 2 board members
It's right there.
talking about district
It's
business.
on the tape.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, I don't know what he was.
No, I never spoke to Mr. Lewis about anything. Yeah, he was here. No, he was not here. He was not here. He was not
He
here.
walked in and apparently walked out. So, anyways,
For the record, when I came in,
He was gone.
no, he was here.
He was here?
You were talking to him, and I was sitting in that corner there. We never spoke, I didn't see nobody speaking to anybody.
I think he may have assumed that you were a board
That
member.
Larry was a board member.
You created problems.
He wasn't happy. So,
The speaking time already passed.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, at the beginning of the meeting.
How about y'all file criminal charges on her? That'd be a great start right there.
Go ahead, Mr. Fumero.
so too. So, at this point, my recommendation is that we terminate the district manager for cause. And I have spoken to several of you. I think it's important, for legal reasons, that we discuss, we don't have to get into any detail, but that we discuss the general basis for termination for just cause.
Well, I think that the determination for the just cause, I could think of 3 areas. The first one is the Florida Commission on Ethics report, where they found her guilty on all counts, and they stated that absence of knowledge of the law does not
Ignorance of the law.
make it correct, okay? So I have that. I also think that the dishonesty bond that should have been for $300,000, $500,000 was $100,000, and it was up to her to have it at $500,000, $500,000, and this was never brought up by the manager to the supervisors, I believe. And the third reason, performance issues. A lot of performance issues. Being on keeping records, being on reports that were not done, being on the audit where there were 12 deficiencies or 14 deficiencies and 12 were related to just the manager. I think that alone, and I could come up with more ideas, those 3 areas of deficiencies or reasons for her to be fired should be sufficient, unless somebody else want to add, any of the board want to add to that.
I just want to make the motion to terminate her like Mr. Romero suggested.
And criminally prosecute.
And so, just to be clear, and Mr. Naranjo's motion now is adopting the grounds stated by the chair?
Right.
Okay, thank you. We just need a second?
Do I have a second motion? Okay, Mr. Fernando has seconded. Discussion?
Besides what you mentioned, I think you overlooked the audit, that the audit, he discovered about that money. So the audit,
That's a deficiency from the audit. There were 14 deficiencies. That was one of them.
no, but I'm talking about the use of the taxpayers' money.
Right, he referred to that
He
also.
referred to that,
Right.
okay?
Yes,
And
you're right.
then we have the witnesses that have came forward on the issue.
The witnesses that came forward?
Right. When we first started,
Mhm.
Chris brought it out to our attention.
Okay,
So,
that's added to that. Okay, so now we could vote on it, since we had a discussion. Those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Those against? It has been moved that the manager is terminated on just cause.
Correct, and I will prepare a letter and send it to Ms. Hester's attorney.
How about criminal charges?
So if anybody, and this is outside this room for anybody, if anybody has information about criminal activity, you need to contact the state attorney's office. We don't, only the state attorney can file a criminal action.
They already went that route.
Yeah, well, you can speak about it.
Yeah, I can't file a criminal.
Well, the thing is, what they needed was clarification on if the money was or wasn't district revenue. And we didn't have an answer at that time, and now we do. Something that the board has to consider at some point, or file a class action lawsuit against them for the money that has been deprived from the community. So there's two routes this thing could go. That's why we're asking, can criminal charges be, brought up upon her by the board?
Well, the board, like any citizen, can provide information to the state attorneys. The state attorney, and only, I don't know who it is here, but only the state attorney.
Mr. Gomer, what's his first name?
So,
John Dahmer?
Yep.
so his office decides, and only they can initiate a criminal action. All we can do, like any member of the public, is provide his office with information.
So what about the money that's missing? Because I mean, it's easy to show that there is money missing, which she even admitted that there is money missing. So where do we get that money back? Or if we ever will? And is there a criminal violation? As far, because if they caught me stealing $800 worth of diesel, I'm going to jail. She's caught in the same act, just a little bit different, and it's okay? I don't believe that it's equal or fair to anybody. That's just my opinion on it.
So, again, I can only talk about the civil issues right now. This is chapter 1 of what will be a long novel. So I think there's always opportunities as information comes to light once litigation ensues. I really, because litigation is likely, because people here may be deposed, I would not get too deep into this discussion at this point in time.
Okay. What is your advice? Yes, Mr. Napoles?
The motion has been made for the termination, we have voted on it. Have anybody considered how far this termination is? If it's gonna involve her losing the benefits? Or she just walk away? Or how are we gonna proceed? Because I'm not an attorney, but if this goes to court, all right, he needs all the lever that he can get based on the board recommendation. The question is she's being terminated with benefits, or she's being terminated
That's it.
without benefits?
Just cause.
So it's just cause, so if you're talking about FRS,
Right.
okay, so that's a whole other proceeding. That's, and the FRS determines, they are provided with information, and they make a determination whether, like for example, criminal activity within the scope of your work and FRS position is a basis for extinguishing retirement benefits. But, my recommendation is let's take this one step at a time. We gotta, let's complete the termination. There's a process we have to go through. Let's see what the response is. Again, this is chapter 1 of a long story. So my recommendation, everything's on the table. Nothing's being taken off the table. It's just that let's take it one step at a time is what I would recommend.
Okay. We go to court, Mr. Fumel, and you represent the board, more or less, how much is the cost?
I mean, it's,
Just say a number, so that we're not in shock later on or anything like that.
litigation, it's very difficult. I mean, it's gonna be tens of thousands of dollars, absolutely, if we go all the way.
Would it go over $80,000?
I doubt it.
Would it go under 50?
This is pure guesswork. I think probably, but, I mean, you know, you're asking me to, I
Well,
don't
no,
have
no,
a
no,
crystal
no, no,
ball.
because perhaps we can settle, if you're gonna charge 50, 60, 70, we can probably settle for 35.
So you negotiate with the criminal now. You're
That
held
is-
hostage.
Hey,
You're held hostage
no,
now.
no, wait, you don't know if we're gonna win.
Really?
This
Really?
should only happen in Ventura.
Really, it's rolling the dice,
Roll the dice.
it's rolling the dice.
Take out my taxes, I'll pay.
In any
Henry County,
litigation,
you'd be gone. There wouldn't be no.
She's lucky she's not in jail.
Yeah. Henry County.
That's that man right back there. That's
Okay,
that man right back
let's
there.
continue with this. Focus on what we are discussing.
Let him speak.
I prepared a report on it, a very in-depth report on it, went over it with the state attorneys and everything like that. I don't know if everybody in this room knows that. We've reviewed tapes, we've reviewed receipts, everything. Everything seemed pretty good. Got a phone call back from the state attorney. You would think one thing's one thing, you know? State attorney's seen it another way. My voice ain't as loud as the state attorney's, so.
So that
So you refused it.
He just couldn't prove who owned the money. But that was before the audit ever came out, or the ethics. He said, as soon as you get that, he says, that case is not dead. It has to have additional information. He even said that the report was good, but there's stuff that still needs to be added to it. So he said that it needs to be referred to an investigator that has the time to further get into it and put more details into the little sections that are missing. He says, if they could prove it is district revenue, that's one thing. Then they have to say knowingly. That's the other thing. If they can prove them too, they have a case and they'll take on them. But they never said it's done and dead there. That's where the board, as a whole, needs to continue what the public has been doing that the board didn't do. Well, I have to give credit to, because I'm sure, you know, but he even
Mr.
spoke,
Annapolis?
Mr. Annapolis.
Mr. Annapolis?
Do we know what her attorney has said, that is her defense? What is, because I see a cut and dry case. That's the way I look at it. Okay? What is the attorney is using for her defense?
so as I said in the email to the board, I mean, the attorney basically said that other district managers have received substantial severance packages and had not worked at the district as long as she has. Secondly, he said that whatever she did in terms of using district resources, it was a continuation of a long-held practice, and that she was innocently continuing that practice. And the third thing he said was that she was being treated differently because she's a woman as opposed to the prior district managers who were men.
Discrimination.
I'm just saying that's what was represented to me. I respectfully disagreed with him.
You know, sometimes if we negotiate, we can settle down.
So, yeah, and so in any litigation, it's always important to keep an open mind and an open ear. Sometimes there is a settlement that makes sense that comes out of it. In any litigation, it's never smart to close your eyes and just say, we're just gonna barrel through, never. So if there are discussions that are reinitiated with her attorney, it is my obligation to bring everything back to you.
Okay.
And I will do so.
Thank you. Okay, are you finished, Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Clement? So the next one is,
I think that's,
Manager?
so I think we may have skipped some Board of Supervisors items
I have one.
under item 5, and I think there was a clubhouse report. I don't know if you have anything.
There's a clubhouse report.
Yeah, I have the report, but it has nothing to do with
That's good. So then that goes to Board of Supervisors items now.
So he's not gonna give his report?
I mean, you wrote it. I mean, unless
Yes,
It's
you
on
wrote it, we
everybody.
have it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
on
good,
everybody.
yeah,
Okay,
unless there's something big you wanna point out.
okay, all right, let's go on to, Mr. Fernando Faraldo. Why the pumps are running?
That's discrimination.
Discrimination. That was your question?
I'm just kidding with Mr. Fumero here.
Oh, okay.
He's been
Why the
discriminated
pumps
on
are
those.
running? Assistant manager, can you answer that?
Why the pumps are running?
We're running.
We ran them that Wednesday because the water level, the
Well, a
the
few
canals
days,
were
not
coming
just
up.
Wednesday. It was
No,
a
I
few-
ran them Wednesday and Thursday. I only ran them
Right.
2 days.
Okay.
But the canals were coming up down here at Pump 4, right
Yeah.
across the street.
It sure was.
The water was going into his yard, so we had to turn on the pumps.
That's-
I did my job. That's
Did she
what we're
call you?
doing. And I
She
called
called
Denise
Thursday.
and I told her that we were turning on the
Thursday
pumps.
she called me, not Wednesday, but Thursday. And told me that they were that one
No,
was
'cause
running.
I didn't bring my phone in, but,
The
it was
prior
a
week
few
that you're
weeks ago.
talking about, yes, we turned on the pumps too because the water was high. Yes.
And it comes in, because the water was going into the property, into somebody's property, it was really.
It's backing up on the ditches.
Yeah, and well, the time I turned it on when you're talking about is when Woodland had water sitting in the ditch.
Yeah.
Woodland had water still sitting, so we were running the pumps too.
Okay, Mr. Napoles, you wrote down bank accounts?
This board asked me to go to the banks and get signature card and all that. So I'm like talking to the bank people. I talked to a higher echelons of the bank. And I asked them, when was the last time this bank account's been revised? We don't know. So my question is, and that's to you, sir. If we have a few $1 million in the bank, banks are very competitive when it comes to interest. And if this money been sitting on a bank for years and years and years without being revised, we may be getting 1%. I suggest, and I'm hereby move, that we ask the accounting firm to put out the money for auction on how much interest are we getting in the accounts. So in other words, for the accounting firm to contact the 3 big local banks that we have and tell the bank, we have, an example, $2 million. What interest rate are you willing to give us for the money? You know what interest rate we're getting on the money now, sir?
I don't know how it
It's a money market.
Okay, well, the money market is negotiable. The banks are very competitive. So if one bank gives you 1%, the other one may give you 1.5, and the other one may say 3. So I think we need to revise
To look at it,
those bank
revisit it,
accounts.
revisit it, okay?
You know, so if, I think I need to make a motion for you to do that, right, correct, sir?
No, you don't need a motion, okay? All right.
So put out the money to the banks and tell them we have X amount of dollars, what can you do for us? And then by the next meeting, we come back and then we can make a decision where to put the money in. All right?
Okay, and I'm next. And I have done food distribution, and I have a statement to make. I know that there were people here earlier on about the food distribution, and I didn't make any comments then because I was on the agenda, on the regular agenda, and I waited till this moment. I called Pastor Landy, and I asked him to explain to me how the food distribution came about, because I wasn't here. It's 9 years ago this month. Okay? And he said that there was an emergency meeting, and that the Salvation Army and Harry Chafin informed him that Montour didn't have any food bank, and that there was a need. He said that he was asked to help out. Would he be able to help out? And he said yes. He spoke with Juan at that time, who was the manager, the clubhouse manager. And he said that he could do it. Juan said, yeah, come on, bring it over. Who is going to oppose this blessing to a community? He was spending 2 hours, more or less, using the pavilion section of the clubhouse, not the parking lot. Okay? When Hurricane Irma came about, 2 truckloads of food were here Tuesday morning. It had water, food, milk, and canned goods for Montura. United Way and Salvation Army came once a year to Montura before he was coming every other week. 4 truckloads of food have not been given to this community since the last meeting that we had here. Okay? This is not an excuse. I was chair, I think, for 1 hour when this came about. Some of you said that we asked him not to come. No, that's not true in this sense. We went by what a supervisor at the end of the meeting said. It's in the minutes. Okay? And we, the board, postponed the meeting or adjourned the meeting and went home. And thought that what was said at that meeting, at the end of that meeting, was law. First of all, we didn't vote. We were focused on the flea market at the clubhouse parking lot. That's what we were talking about. 5013 for Pastor Landy wasn't even considered. I told you the story. He didn't even use his 5013 to get permission to come here. It was done on a one-on-one basis with an individual that worked here. But since Central County has had the experience and the history of not doing policies and procedures, this agreement came about. I asked them, did Cookie know about this? Did the supervisors know about this? Everybody knew that I was coming. Nobody questioned. Why would they? Okay? So it was questioned on that day, a month ago. And we as a board did not act on it. And now what I am asking the board to do is, he has a lot. He is going to get a building to have a permanent food bank. He hasn't started it yet. He has a lot that was given to him. I am asking the board that we vote, that we give him a temporary time. Let him stay here till he fixes his lot so that he could go into that lot and serve the community of Montura. He is giving a service to us. The flea market was a business. It is not discrimination as far as I'm concerned, because there are 2 different things. Okay? 5013 had nothing to do with the man. Never, the board before us 9 years ago didn't even acknowledge that he was doing that. Or confronting, why are you coming? So, to get this over with, and to go back and help the people in our community that needs the help, I'm asking the board today to allow him to be there until he has that piece of property ready and running for him to conduct the food bank. I want to tell you that he has not asked me for me to do anything. He says he has plenty of work. He has other communities that are serving him. Harlem asked him and told him that he could go to the auditorium they have, the Civic Center, and give out food there. He is doing it in Clewiston. Okay? He is doing it in Clewiston, giving out food from the same bank. And I am asking the board, let's do the thing right. If you say no, it's public knowledge, it's how we vote. If we say yes, temporarily, he is allowed to stay there. Yes, Mr. Napoles.
This gentleman right here
Yes.
sent me a text. And I want to make it clear. Everybody here has seen me in the food banks.
Yes, I have.
I have worked my rear.
Yes, you have.
Okay? Well, when I've been told in a text message that I am the devil, because I don't want the food distribution, I take that personal. Because everybody here knows how deep I have gotten on the food bank. I do not have any objections about the food distribution. The Harry Food Bank,
Which is the one he uses,
okay,
one of them.
okay, has taken the food that Landy was getting and it's given it to Abel. And that's why Abel is distributing food every week. Abel used to distribute food maybe twice a week,
Twice a month.
twice a month. Abel, the church, Serving with Love is taking that food. So I believe from what I have heard from the food bank that Landy is responsible for Cluston and Abel is responsible for Motura. Now, I do not have any problem with the food bank. On the contrary, I would like to use that clubhouse for a lot of other activities. And I fully am aware all the benefits that service does to the community. Now, I spoke to Mr. Landy, and Mr. Landy says that if he was doing this for many, many years, and whoever's not agreeing with him, he's gonna have him removed because he has the people. So that's me. So on the next political campaign, Mr. Landy is gonna say that Napoles do not want the food here. And that's gonna be what's gonna happen. But as long as I'm here, as long as I'm sitting on this chair, elected by the people out there, I'm gonna be just. If something is good for him, it's gotta be good for everybody else.
There are two different things, Mr.
Okay?
There are two different things as far as I'm concerned, the way I see it. I don't know about the other members. You did state, I have the minutes, okay? Not only do we have minutes, we have the video.
Okay, go ahead, go say it.
Okay, so you did state that if the flea market cannot be at the clubhouse, neither can
Well,
any other 501. He
Because-
wasn't doing 501.
okay, because it is not a difference between one charity and another.
That isn't a charity.
That's not a charity. You're gonna charge me for
That's
making money.
a 501 that is making money.
No.
Exactly.
Yes?
They're both making money, man. A
No.
donation
He's giving
to
out
the
the
church.
food. He's giving out that money free to the residents.
But he accepting donations for the church.
I go to him every 2 weeks when he gets here. I'm still with the people, I'm listening to them, okay? I'm not home, and I have never seen anybody give him any money. They could, and I don't see it, because I'm so busy talking with the people that are there, with the residents, that I don't see it. I'm telling you what I haven't seen. I have never seen him take money for food that's been given out. Have you seen it? That's a different story.
No, I agree.
Denise,
May I speak, ma'am?
Denise, you were right about the last meeting. I guess it was the heat of the moment, and when he said the discrimination part
Yes,
of
it's
it,
not
we
true.
should have taken care of it right there and then.
Yes.
You were right about that.
And,
You were right about that.
and,
Let me finish. Let me
Okay,
finish before
go
I
ahead.
lose my concentration.
Go
You were right about that. And I think that we should allow him to continue those services, not even while he's building his grounds, that he should continue doing it at the clubhouse as he's been doing for the past 9 years.
that's why he has that gun that was
Well,
on
yeah,
there.
because now he's afraid that
No,
other
this
board
was
members,
before.
it's going to,
This was before.
yeah, now he's, you know.
He has that.
If I was him, I will continue doing it there at the clubhouse. Parking space and everything it's worked perfect with him. So I make the motion for him to continue using the clubhouse.
Temporarily, okay. Wait, do I have a second motion for him to continue
I second.
temporarily being there? You second?
Permanent.
Permanent.
Temporary.
I know, that's what I said. I said permanent.
He wants to do it in the land that was donated to him. Now you're gonna take that away
You
from him?
know the man that
He
gave
wants to
it
do
to
Leave it
him?
open. Leave it open there.
Okay,
Leave it open.
all right.
You have a
Do I
first.
have,
You have a first.
and I
you
have a second. Discussion?
I wanna say he don't pay a dime. He don't get a dime for that.
I know.
All right.
I
Thank
He
you.
does it for God
Thank you.
Do we
and
have
the
a,
people.
Vote.
do we have a vote? Let's
Yes.
vote.
Yes.
Those of you that are in favor,
Yes.
those against? I will inform him that he may continue. I don't know if he's gonna do it, that's up to him. Yes.
Can you also, as all the supervisors in Central County, give him some kind of award or something, a plaque or something, for giving this community 9 years of service?
We could consider that.
You oughta seen the Christmas thing.
I saw it, I was there,
Bobby and
Amazed.
all of them was there.
amazed, yes, that's one.
Ella me va a traducir.
No está bien. Tú lo dices en español y
I'll translate quickly, please. Rápido porque no
Sí, en primer lugar, yo también soy un hombre de negocios y también sé cómo se juegan
He's a
estos.
businessman and he knows how things are done.
En segundo lugar, el pastor no le pide nada a nadie.
The pastor does not ask any money from anyone.
Todos los que somos, todos los que llegamos a esa iglesia, todos los que los congregamos en la iglesia, damos nuestros diezmos y nuestras ofrendas.
All of us that are members of the church, we give a 10% of our salary.
Y él nunca le ha pedido
To buy
nada a
things.
nadie. La mitad del dinero que viene el camión de Harry Chapel, él paga la mitad de ese
He
camión.
pays for half of the dinero
Dinero
de la comida.
de la
He
comida.
pays for half of the food that the truck brings
Sale de
from
todo,
Chapman.
sale de todo
And
el
it comes out
dinero
of
de todo el dinero que damos
all
todos
the money
los
that
de
the
ahí.
parishioners collect weekly. He pays that.
La única donación que él recibe es cuando en Christmas que le da Hill Foundation.
Donation he gets from the Hill Foundation
Y
on
creo que sí le
Christmas.
dan a little bit.
And no more. $4,000 is given to the clubhouse and they work together.
Es muy bonito
It's very nice work.
pedir el voto y creerse un santo y después cuando estamos sentados en la silla creernos
It's nice to make believe that we are saints and then when we're sitting at the chair,
Sí, no podemos. Yo me recuerdo cuando andaban en campaña
he remembers when we were having campaigns
y uno de mis votos fue mi esposa y yo
and he went to vote
y que sentamos en esa silla
and he's talking to him and they set him down at that chair
porque
to the votes
tú prometiste que ibas a ayudar a la comunidad y la comunidad la estamos ayudando nosotros.
because you promised that you were going to help the community and we are the ones that are helping the community.
Y tú lo que estás haciendo es apartando la comunidad que se muera de hambre. No sé si en algún tiempo tú has aguantado
And
hambre.
what you have done is have the community be hungry because of this.
Solo una cosa te voy a decir, con el respeto que te merezco.
I'm respecting you by saying this to you.
No te metas con los hijos de Dios,
Do not go against God's children.
porque nosotros recibimos bendición de Dios y damos bendición de
Because
Dios a la comunidad.
We receive benediction from God and we give benedictions to the rest of the community.
Porque Dios pone reyes y quita reyes. Que Dios te
God
bendiga.
puts kings and he also takes down kings. May the Lord bless you. Okay?
I don't respond.
Oh, come on, man.
No, because I'm being made, he called me, I got messages.
Go ahead.
Okay? Que yo no soy el diablo.
Lo
Okay?
puse a
No,
otra
mira,
persona,
mira,
no
a mí,
no a ti.
no, a mí no me vas a intimidar ni tú, ni el
Okay.
pastor Landy, ni el que sea.
I'm gonna have a motion to adjourn.
¿Ok? Ahora, si tú no me quieres aquí, Landy no me quiere aquí, lo único que tienen que hacer en la próxima elección,
He didn't say that.
Yo votaré en contra por ti.
¿ok? Vota en contra de mí, pero yo voy a ser justo mientras que yo esté sentado en esta silla.
I'm gonna be just as long as I'm sitting at
Okay.
this chair.
And I
you can
state
vote
my
against me.
motion, and I state my motion for the record. What's good for one, now you have made a precedency, and you have made an exception. It is not entertaining, but it's gonna be allowed. So,
Mr. Napoles, we have not made an exceptions, we have not made anything. The past board did nothing but allow him to do it. Now we are legalizing the fact that he could do it until he moves into his lot because of what he has done for his community.
All right,
He used to help.
All right,
I'll have a motion to adjourn.
do I have a second?
thank you, sir. Thank you,
Second,
sir.
Joe
He used
Case,
to- okay.
second.
Second,
And they
All
call
in favor?
themselves Christians.
all in favor to
Aye.
adjourn?
All right,
Aye.
all right.